Oh, my name's Shrek.
Okay, that's it. Every time you want to say for fuck's sake, it has to be a Scottish accent.
No, you also know.
Absolute
Irish.
unit.
Scottish would have just said, piss off.
Okay, here's the thing.
Bloody wanker.
I'm a genius!
No.
Here's the thing about...
No, it's like that thing that's just like in the office on this lad.
I
Absolute unit.
I actually dated a Scottish
If somebody...
before.
If somebody does bring up either Burger King foot lettuce, a remake of
Burger King foot lettuce.
Number 15, Burger King foot lettuce. The last thing
when your Burger King burger is someone's foot fungus.
Number 45.
Okay.
Guys,
Listen.
Quiet.
Okay. So if you bring up any cheesy meme during this podcast that has to do with Burger King foot lettuce, yodeling kid from Walmart, any dead meme from January to back, then you're automatically killed.
What about pictures of Spider-Man?
Oh my god. That's gonna be brought up. I have a feeling it's gonna be brought up.
Can I bring it up at least
But
once?
if you tell me something about yodeling kid from Walmart or Burger King foot lettuce, you're automatically out. Goodbye.
Don't do it. Don't do it, Laser Wolf.
I won't do it.
Oh, don't do it.
Coffee fight!
What about number burger?
Don't. That's too close.
The last thing you want. I'm not going to, I'm not even. Well, you said during the podcast, you said not before. This is technically before.
For fuck's sake!
Wait, what the heck? Why is there a chair here?
Just in a Scottish accent.
Laser, baby, come here. Come here. Come on.
Meetings are like trying to herd
Why are you
cats.
talking to him like a cat?
Alright,
Come on,
guys,
sit
as
back
you
down.
can clearly see, our stocks are down. I recommend that we funnel all of our efforts into getting more pictures of Spider-Man on the double.
Can we please have a window that I can jump out of?
No, we don't need more pictures of
that's
Spider-Man.
a
We
great
don't
idea.
need more
Maybe if you go out the window, you can see Spider-Man and catch a picture of him.
No, we need
God,
more pictures
stop.
of cute little kittens doing adorable things.
Shit. Damn it.
No. We need more people playing with their Nintendo level pianos.
How to play?
Okay.
I'm good.
Are you guys ready?
It's empty.
Are you
Yeah.
cracking glass
Yeah,
over there?
everyone,
It was an
everyone,
empty
Alright.
bottle, everyone. We're good.
everyone,
No smoke.
everyone,
Oh, thanks, babe.
Alright, are you guys?
shh.
Are
Everyone.
you guys ready? Telephone ready?
Yeah.
Alright. Ashley, tell me when you're gonna cue it. Oh, okay. Alright. So, everybody, this podcast here, we have a very special guest, and that is Telephone Squeak, or the True Telephone, or D in this case. So, a couple questions. We can kind of go around and ask you questions. My first question for you has to be, how did you start getting into the fandom? I mean, we know that you're one of the most famous fursuiters, but we want to know, how did you get in the fandom?
You know, it's actually something I have to thank my brother for, because I had no idea what furries were. Back in the day, I was like a huge cosplayer, and I wanted to make something that I hadn't seen at a convention before. I've only been to like one or two of them. And I started making a Kyuubi costume from Naruto, and I designed it after like a mascot. So, you know, here I am in my mom's craft room making like this basically a fursuit head. And my brother walks in, he's like, "Ew, God, are you a furry?" And I was like, "What the hell is that?" He's like, "Oh, you don't want to be one of those. Like, those are people that, you know, hump animals, and they're terrible people, and they're sex deviants." So I was like, "Oh my God, no! I'm just making a cosplay."
I think that's. I think that's the reaction we all get when somebody says, "Are you a furry?" and we say, "Yeah."
I know, right?
I always get hate messages like whenever I'm on like my
like this app called iFunny, I always get hate just when I say something, because they just look at my profile picture and they're just like, ew, furry.
Yeah, it's really a common thing, but I'm glad that I was a bit more open-minded, because like my brother always messed with me when I was a kid, and I was just sitting there. I was like, God, now I need to look this up because curiosity killed the cat. But I went and started looking up like furry stuff and everything, and found out that it was just this huge community based around anthropomorphic animals, and it's a huge artist community, which is what I was heavily into, was art, designing, sculpting, anything like that, and it fit the glove perfectly. So the day was set when I became a furry. So yeah, that's how I became a furry. Yeah.
Yeah. Ed, you're the most popular one.
Yeah. So going around the table, we'll go from me to Zura and then Hawaiian. Zura, what do you have to say? What do you have to ask a question to telephone?
What brought you to create the Dutch Angel Dragons?
I was about to ask that.
So, ever since I've had, I don't know if you guys relate to this, but have you ever had like an animal character that you kind of like implied to be yourself, that you would kind of imagine in different TV shows and stuff? I used to do that a lot, and I loved horses and I loved dragons, but I couldn't make up my mind. So what I started doing when I was a kid is I made this character named Sin, and I've had this character ever since the first Teen Titans TV show came out.
Ooh.
And it was like this horse dragon thing, and it further developed into something else, and then I changed the concepts a little bit. She went through multiple different changes until one day I kind of dropped that character. I still have her to this day, but I kind of like had this dream about, this is kind of cheesy, but I had a dream about this, brown horse-like dragon with feathery wings, and that's when I drew Telephone. And, I had created her, 7-8 years ago now? And then it just developed from there. When I got the suit, everyone was curious, what her species was. And at the time, I kind of knew of what it was, but I didn't have a name for it. So I was just like, it's an angel dragon. And then as we further developed the species and people really liked the concept and everything, that's when we added the name Dutch to it as a kind of like, nod to the hat to my very first horse that I had, Dutch. So, yeah.
Aww.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Crap, I dropped my coffee.
So what were just carrying on from that, what were some of people's first impressions when they saw the first stages of Telephone?
I've really always had a good reaction with Telephone. I never had anybody tell me that I was annoying. Looking at some of my older videos, when I first started out with my Telephone suit, which was, the first head that I had was a trade between me and Phoenix Wolf. So it was like her older style. And then later on, when they flew me to MFF for my very first time, they surprised me with the bodysuit, her and Autumn Fallings, CJ, and Phoenix Wolf, or Phoenix Nest suits now. They collabed and actually made the full body for me. So they're actually the people that got me to squeak. And I'm almost sure people had to have thought I was the most annoying creature on the earth, because they gave me a dog squeaker at first, and that's where I started to develop and everything. But starting off as the old Telephone, I'm sure people they probably got really annoyed with me, but I've never had a bad situation with her, really, where people are like, oh, you're annoying. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have to agree.
Yeah.
You made me join the community.
Oh, well, thank you, because I annoy myself all
Yeah.
the time.
I'm sorry, that laugh was a little bit too loud.
No, you're fine.
I mean, like, when,
Stop
like,
stealing my coffee.
what first got me into the community was, like, a YouTuber, and then, like, it further developed, and I was like, what kind of species would my character be? And then I was searching around, and I found your concept, and I was just like, oh, I should make a
Laser, stop.
character that's that species.
Oh, that's so
Just
cool.
evolve from there.
Oh, have fun.
Sorry.
All right, so moving on. Hawaiian, you got anything to say?
Huh?
Hawaiian, you got anything to say to telephone?
No, I didn't really have any questions prepared.
Oh,
I just work with the DDG and their
Okay.
silly confuzzled things, so I'm just kind of eh.
Cool.
Okay.
You weren't prepared
Chuck,
for this test.
Do you want to bring in any, questions, comments, or whatever?
Sure. What?
Yeah, I'll have to pass.
Okay.
Oh.
Yes.
I've never heard it.
I'd have to go get the squeaker. Yeah, 1 second. Okay, yeah, we can do that towards the end.
Okay.
You should say 2 Griffin has no dick again.
Ah! But it is true.
I always thought that was Kage that was that way.
So
That is a good question.
Yes.
I actually I get that question asked a lot, and the funny thing is that it was never supposed to be the character's name. I wanted something like regal and angsty, but I couldn't think of anything at the time. So I was looking at my friend, and I was just like, shit, oh, excuse me. What do we name?
That's fine.
What do we name this character? And I was just like, for a temporary time, we had an inside joke going on, related around like ghosts and stuff, and it was just the dumbest thing. But I was like, I'm gonna just name it Telephone for now, and when I think of a good name, I'll think of a good name. Well, I never thought of a good name, so it just stuck.
I mean, it is a good name.
Yeah,
Thanks. Thank you.
it's a cute name.
I appreciate it.
Apparently, appliances are cute names. Who would have known?
I know,
radio.
right? Yeah.
Radio.
I should make a angel dragon called refrigerator or something. Yeah, I'm gonna bring that.
I mean, I named my character after Sly
Ow, I
Cooper.
just ripped my headphones out.
I'll just call you and be like, "Is your refrigerator running?"
I wanted to name my first character. I wanted it to start with a J because J's my favorite letter. So that's how Jiro came to be.
I mean, like, the way my character's name came to be was like, I was like, I don't know what to have my character's name be. I would just ask on a Discord group, and then somebody suggested Sly, and I was just like, that's actually a good idea, because Sly Cooper is a really good game. So I stuck with that.
There's also Sly from Twilight Tasmanian Tiger, if you ever played that game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Chuck, do you
I
got
got mine.
anything to say to telephone?
Okay. My question is, what got you into VR chat?
Oh, so that's a really funny one. It started out with like the Best Boys, where like people were sending me messages like, "Oh my god, they're copying Telephone," and I was just like, I don't care. Like, I mean, it's sweet that people look out for me, but Logarth is a friend of mine who I guess knows the person that created the Best Boys, and he was looking for permission, so he went through Logarth to ask me if it was okay. I'm like, yeah, I don't care. Like, go nuts. And, it's just like, time and time again, people would tag me on Twitter because they run across these little avatars. And I guess they were, like, somewhat inspired by Telephone or something, but, I just kept getting messages, like, so we finally just recently bought, an Oculus, so the VR thingy, and tried it out, and here I am. Hi.
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 I mean,
Welcome to
like, when I
memes.
first found you,
Yeah.
you were just using, you were using Rue's account.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I didn't know how to set up an account. Like, I am not computer savvy in no words. Like, I am awful when it comes to that stuff, so...
Look, Telephone. When it's talking about computer savvy, I am with you on that, because I am the complete opposite of being computer savvy. I don't even know how to use Unity or Blender. I'm like a potato that's being squashed by a fork. That's how my brain
That's
is.
easy, dude.
I mean, you could just look up
You guys,
some
to
YouTube
me, it's
videos. It's easy. If you look up YouTube videos, you can find out how to do it.
Well, I may or
I
may
mean,
not have used Unity in high school, though. That's one other thing.
I mean, I taught myself because of YouTube videos.
Anyways.
All my avatars were uploaded by somebody else, because I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, anyways,
Okay.
so you may not be computer savvy. I am kind of computer savvy in the sense is that if you give me a computer, I can tear it apart and put it back together again. And I
Yeah,
know
same here.
basic operations.
You give
I'm
me
a
a
dragon.
computer and I'll ruin it.
Yes.
Same.
I'll build it for you. I'm not,
I
I'm
mean,
not, I'm not
really
a
good at
base builder,
that.
but just give me a budget and I can work with
I don't
it.
know
That's
how
it
to
works.
do
Right?
anything like with
Skills of
internal
determination.
parts of the computer, but like applications inside computers, I'm fine with that. Except
So-
for Blender.
Carrying on from Dark, since you've been talking, Darks, do you have anything to ask Telephone or D?
Well, my question is, like whether or not I get get enough money to get a first suit this year, I do want to try at least attend at least one con before the year ends. Would you have any advice for anybody who's listening or will watch in the future about what to do in a FurCon?
That's actually, I wrote a small article a couple years ago for Rocky Mountain FurCon, just kind of like describing what it's like to go to your first convention. Like, it's obviously really exciting. You're gonna see people, depending the con that you're at, that you've seen online, you want to interact. I think it really comes down to, like, just plan accordingly. Like, figure out what you want to do. There's tons of panels, there's tons of events to go attend. Obviously be respectful of the convention space. They do work very, very hard to put on these conventions for everybody. And, I would suggest going with a friend. Like, I've never gone to a convention.
I would want to go with.
Good. Yeah.
Oh.
I don't think
Yeah.
I've really ever gone to a
I'm just
convention
saying.
without close friends, so.
Yeah, so knowing me, I'm in the brony fandom, and I'm also in the furry fandom.
I
And
am
know
too.
I get a ton of hate from
Yeah,
both
same.
fandoms. But honestly, from where I live, I went to a convention called BabsCon, and I went with my friend Thomas. He's pretty popular. He's not really popular, but he is somewhat. His name's Tom Brony. He's on Instagram if you want to.
Oh my God, I know
if you're a
him.
Brony and you're You do? That's my
Yeah,
friend. Anyway,
I know about him.
him and I went to BabsCon together last year. I couldn't go this year. It sucks because of work. But last year I went, and yeah, I had a blast. It's fun going with friends because you can talk to them or see what kind of panels you want to go to. And yes, BabsCon does have furry panels and some personas there and first. So it was really fun going there.
That's good, and you shouldn't be ashamed of something that you like. just because of like people find a stigma behind that. You should be proud for what you like, and if it makes you happy, just do it. Like, I know that there's tons of people out there that are always going to sit there and criticize you for something that you just generally like. It's pretty freaking lame of them, so just do whatever, man. Don't worry about it.
Everyone has their own opinions, man. Just don't criticize what people like and don't like.
Unless it's the French.
Okay, yeah.
I just want to say something. Someone in my stream just said, who just said Blender is easy? Burn the heretic. I think they were talking about you, Jero.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
I'm not a heretic. That is the true form of heresy. We see you are no heretic.
No.
Alright. So, just bringing this along, because we're kind of running on a standard basis schedule. Jiro, do you want to pitch in anything or some questions to telephone or anybody around here?
Yeah. What's it like being the only squeaky fur who's not annoying?
I actually have to disagree with you. I think there are plenty of
It was
amazing...
kind of a joke question.
Well, I'm gonna disagree with you anyways.
I know.
I'm gonna disagree with you because I just want to.
I think we're being.
I think there's like a lot of like really talented like costume performers in this fandom that like kind of get overlooked because, it's telephone. But I don't know, it's fun. Like, as long as I'm entertaining people and they're enjoying it and having fun with it, like, I'm happy to do so because it makes me happy. So yeah.
Can I ask my real question? Like, that was kind of just a... I didn't think you were actually going to answer it. I was just going to be like, just kidding. But anyway, who is your favorite poppy fur that's not you?
Oh, man. Oh.
I hope it's me.
That's really hard.
That's not what I asked at all.
It is what you asked.
I don't think I could pick a favorite. Like, there's just too many of them that I love, like, equally. So I'm just like, my bleeding heart. Well, there's...
group. I'll accept that.
Okay, oh my gosh. So, like, definitely, I'd say Majira is on the list because he's super sweetheart.
Majira Strawberry.
Oh boy.
Yeah, Blue the Dragon. Blue is also like amazing person. I just recently got to know him a little bit more when I was in Australia and stuff. So we ended up giving each other tattoos. So that was great.
Nice.
He's my neighbor. He's like 5 minutes up the road, and I love my squirrel child. Splat, of course, too. When I say Om Nom, Splat and Om Nom come in a package. So.
I do have a question from my stream. Give me one moment.
Yeah, I think honestly I could go on with that list because I can't group them. There's just too many of them.
I should have said who you should hang out with the most. Is probably more what I meant, but that works.
All right.
Om Nom.
This is question from the stream. It's a two-part question. All right. So, what got you into dragons, and what do you like about them?
That's I've always liked dragons. That's actually, I've never been asked that before. I really I don't understand where my fascination for dragons come from at all. Like, I can think back to when I was a little kid, and I'm not entirely sure what, triggered that.
I know for me it was Spyro.
I was born in the year of the dragon.
I'm gonna get,
Did you get some dragon
roasted for saying this, but I don't like Spyro.
That's fine. It's totally fine. There's other dragon games.
Yeah.
You just say that because I pull out Hunter too much and annoy you with them.
But
and that And that question came from a user called
I love playing
Bernie760.
Spyro.
Thank you very much,
old ones are
Bernie760, for your
overrated,
question.
The old ones
I mean,
are
I was
overrated.
just
okay.
saying the question came from Bernie760. Thank you for your question.
Oh.
That's telling him.
Oh,
That way
you
they-
scared the crap out of me. You changed models.
Okay.
And...
Laser. Do you want to say anything or ask a specific question to telephone?
I've got nothing really.
All right. Well,
Jero,
there is a really
on the topic of Spyro. Okay, the stupid thing is the first Spyro game I've ever played was Enter the Dragonfly.
That one's terrible.
I know, but I actually liked it as a kid. I don't know why.
It's the Legend of Spyro.
Telephone.
Nothing. But go on.
Yeah.
A question that I had. It's kind of strange. I don't know if you've gotten this question before, but throughout your fursuiting career and for being a furry, how did you meet your husband?
Oh, it's pretty easy. My husband was actually a commissioner of mine back in the day, and he used to he used to follow a lot of the things I did. And back then, do you guys remember Tiny Chat by chance?
Yes.
Maybe.
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like a streaming room. It's almost like Google Hangouts now, but he used to come in there and we'd craft together and we'd just work while people watch the stream. And we just really got to know each other. He was a super nice guy. And I had a fiance before him. Unfortunately, me and her just didn't work out, so we ended the relationship. And quite a while after that, me and Dan started talking, and he was going to a con with me for the first time. We were all rooming together, and right before we left my house to that convention, he asked me out. And we've been together ever since, and now we are happily married.
Great!
Yay!
Congrats.
Yeah.
Clap.
I would clap, but I
do
don't
have
have
a question
VR.
for telephone. Did you ever play? Did you ever own a PS1, the first PlayStation?
Yes, I did.
Amazing console.
I had a PS2.
You know what was one of my favorite games on that console? Or console?
What?
Console, gosh.
Console.
Dude, there was like a Jurassic Park game. I don't think anybody played it, but it was like a Jurassic Park game.
Turok.
It was Turok.
Was it Turok?
Yes, it was.
Where is it? Was it the game you got to play as a Velociraptor?
Yes.
Yes, I remember that game.
That was a really classic one.
Oh
It's like
my
you go
God.
after the eggs or
Oh
something.
my god.
You had to run
I've
through
heard
this
about it.
it was a ridiculously
It was
hard
like a
game.
2D, 3D type scroller
Yes!
game. It
Oh
was
my God.
amazing.
You know.
I think
I'm
they
so
lagged
excited.
I'll invite
Rest
them
in
back.
peace.
Darn it! I was gonna actually tell
played
her,
that game until
give her
my
some advice for
PlayStation,
that one user
destroyed
that's someone who's going to a convention for the first time.
Oh dear.
I am sorry about that. I seem to have just crashed.
Okay.
I
know.
crashed. That's my job.
Crash Bandicoot.
So, I want to see everybody's opinions. If you've been to a convention, then you'll most likely have the answer to this. Or if you just do, commissions for people or whatever. I want to get your input about fursuit making or cosplaying in general, because I sure do love cosplaying. I was going to go to BabsCon and I was going to cosplay. I had a cosplay already made as my OC, and that didn't turn out because I had to work. But other than that, I like expressing my art through creating things, and I think cosplaying is one of those key ways.
Yeah, cosplaying and, costume making in general it's fun, but I've been doing this since I was 12 years old. I'm 25 now. It is a massive, massive
I feel
learning.
so old. I'm 29.
Me too.
I'm 22 and I feel old.
But I didn't catch the end question of mine when I asked you if you played Dungeons and Dragons. I crashed right at that moment.
Dungeons and Dragons. Is that what you asked?
No.
No,
Legend
Enter
of the
Dragoon.
Dragoons.
Yeah, Legend.
Legend of the Dragons. Legend of the Dragons.
Oh, I've never heard of
It was a 4-disc
that.
game.
Yeah. Oh, wait.
Was
Actually,
it?
Do you by any chance have an original Xbox still? The original Xbox?
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
Go buy Panzer Dragoon Orta. That's an amazing game. You literally ride a dragon and get to shoot people.
Oh.
I mean, I never owned the
up...
original Xbox, but I played Crash Twinsanity. Like, it was on the original Xbox.
So, if we're going to be talking about video games right now, I am literally a huge video game collector. I have stuff from Atari to now. And I have...
I'm a big Sega collector,
Trust me. I haven't, except for a Dreamcast. I don't have Dreamcast. That's one thing I want to get.
I have.
Yeah.
I got a lot of
3.
Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation.
My biggest thing to collect for is the GameCube, though.
I have the NES, the SNES, the N64, a GameCube. I don't have a Wii. I don't have the Wii U. I have a Nintendo Switch. I've had several Game Boys of all types. I've had the original Xbox 360, the Slim. I don't have an Xbox One. I've had multiple PlayStations, not the PS3 though. I skipped that one. And I'm more of a PC person right now. Ever since I got my first one back when I graduated high school in 2008.
Pretty bad, to be honest, except for
actually
the Switch.
2007. I
Switch
graduated
is
happy
amazing.
early.
Okay, so as we kind of roll to an end, because it's already almost been kind of our max limit of time, I just wanted to go around the room quickly, and if a couple of you guys wanted to ask a question to me, telephone, or anybody else, you go right ahead.
Yeah, like, not like as far as just like being the character, but you know, being in a costume, it gets exhausting. Like, I can't hardly. Yeah, I used to be able to wear her for, you know, my longest time was 8 hours without taking that off or anything. But, you know, with more and more people knowing who Telephone is, it can be a bit hard to actually perform as the character and also cater to everybody else's needs when it comes to like asking questions or taking photos. So like a lot of the time I just find myself standing there kind of like, you know, I'll pose and I'll go kind of check people out and stuff. But for the most part, like it gets like a little exhausting after a while, like dealing with so many people, as to like a couple of years ago where I used to be able to kind of like, you know, steadily get through the convention. Okay, like I now need handlers or else it'll take me 4 to 5 hours to move a couple of feet.
Oh man. That's stripping up my I'm not a big person for crowds. I've been to New York City 3 times. Once was for my high school. I was in the JRTC Navy version. I liked it. I actually liked being in the parade. But the other 2 times I went because my niece was over, and then I went on my birthday. My sister took me to Serendipity. Pretty nice place. But all the while I was there, I was kind of always looking over my back because I don't like being in crowds, so I was nervous someone's going to come up my back to stab me. But that's just me. I just don't like being in crowds too much. But I can
actually... Sorry, I can actually share, you know, similarities with that. Like, I have I used to be able to, let people pick me up and stuff, and like that's fine if they're gentle, but I actually have really bad back problems. But I've gotten crowded really bad to the point where like I can't move and people are like grabbing my shoulders and pulling me in different directions for photos. I've actually ended up with like finger-sized bruises on my shoulders. But I think the worst situation, and I've got this under control now after going through some more like rigorous training about this, but I've actually had panic attacks before from crowds and collapsed. There's actually I feel so bad, and I think it's sweet. Like, nobody really understands. Like, when someone's laying on the floor, they think you're just being cute. But there's a picture of us at Anthrocon in the parade lineup where I'm just kind of laying on the concrete floor, and they took a picture of me, and they're like, oh, Telephone's so cute, she's sleeping. And what people don't realize what happened is that I had just a blackout from just panic and stress because, like, I know that it's not allowed to take photos in that area, and I was being swarmed. And I don't have the capability to tell somebody no in telephone, so, I was panicking over that, and then panicking over, like, not even being able to see because there's so many people in my face and all around me that I just kind of lights out for a minute. I was just so overwhelmed. Like, and it's fine, like things like that happen.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's okay though. I'm not, in a sense being like, oh, pity me because this happened to me. But the only things that really stress me out is just like when we're kind of blocking hallways or anything like that. I can handle a crowd. It's just when I'm put in situations where I can't control that situation and move people, but I've gotten better about that and just kind of breaking character and explaining, hey, we gotta move over here, or let's not take photos in here, and like I just don't like disappointing people is also. Yeah.
Alright, thank you. See if I get the question. Oh, there is a question. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, so as kind of I don't know if you I don't honestly don't mind if you say yes or no to this, but some people that I've been mentioning or I've been saying at BabsCon last time I went, there's a lot of people there that like really desired you, but there wasn't like a huge crowd. There's not like that many furries there. I saw probably like 4 or 5 there that were fursuiters or just standard furs because they hadn't at their table. But I was thinking, I don't know if you would like it or not, but as a guest of honor, I think it'd be really cool if you came to BabsCon.
Yeah, I've heard of that convention before. I mean, if they wanted to reach out and like talk to me about being a guest of honor or something, or just like a guest there, I'd be more than happy to, go along as long as like we worked out some, important details. Like any con like that comes to me for, guest contract work, I obviously, do the work. I do panels and stuff because when you're a guest, it's not like you're put on a pedestal and you're like, oh, I'm here, I can be lazy. No, like I really do want to work for that specific thing. So I just ask, if cons are going to be flying me out there, just like cover like travel and stay and stuff. But other than that, I can take care of myself as far as food goes. But, yeah.
Yeah.
Slayer, I do have a question from one of my viewers. It's for telephone. It's another one from Bernie760. Did your parents ever think you were wasting your time, or did they support you?
Well, okay, so I only grew up with my mother, and at first I don't think she really understood it, but she still let me do it. Like, she kind of was like, alright. And then as she saw me, like, grow with it and, like, I started reaching out and doing like a ton of charity work. Like straight out of the gate, I've always loved doing that, but I was given opportunities to make mascot costumes for like the Woody Foundation. I've still got a news article of the costume that I made in the newspaper that I kind of just donated to this cause of bringing like food for families. And actually, Telephone was used for the charity play that we put on every year with Woody and, a couple of other costumes that I had. So, we would raise an immense amount. And I think my mom started to see the good in, like, the positives in whatever I was in. She didn't understand it. She didn't at first, but now she's just she loves it. She couldn't be more supportive. She understands now, and like, she just loves me for me, and that's all that matters. So.
Thank you. Thank you, Bernie760, for another question.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't.
Thing that's actually kind of funny that kind of relates to this. When I first told my parents, like I told my mom first, and my dad was like, eh. But when I told my mom, it was kind of funny. I was like, Mother, I've been wanting to tell you this for a while, but I'm a furry. And she goes, oh, as long as you're not a brony. That's literally what she said.
That's sad.
Wow.
Well, that's the sad part for me, because of course I'm the brony, and my mom.
Same.
I was at Target surprisingly, and we went by, and the Funko like vinyl figures that they have at like some stores. They had one of that, and I'm like, hey Mom, this is really cool. And she's like, are you a brony? I'm like, yeah, I am. And she's like, there's the movie thing about that, right, on Netflix? I'm like, yeah, I've already seen it. I'm into bronies, or being a brony, and it's been going on from there. I mean, my whole laptop is covered with brony stickers, but my dad reacted in a different way, and my whole family other side of the family reacted another way, and it kind of brought me into tears. It's kind of bringing me in tears thinking about this, but I was laying in bed one day. It was about a couple weeks ago, probably a month ago, and my dad walks in, and he already knew that I was one, but he kept on asking me if I'm okay and if everything's all right, and I told him everything's fine. And then he kept on saying stuff like, are you gay and all that, and I told him I'm not gay. If I told him I'm in a brony community. Doesn't mean I'm gay. I mean, there's people out there that are straight that are, supporting other people, which is totally fine. It's just, I don't think my dad's side of the family really understands that, hey, you're a guy liking a girl's thing, but girls like guys thing. So it's kind of not okay for guys type of deal. But so in the meantime, I kind of tend to wrap around those things. People say stuff to me like that at school, so I just ignore them. But yeah, I get treated pretty harshly about that stuff.
I don't plan on telling my parents anything. Yeah.
Yeah, that can be hard because. Oh, go ahead.
I know how exactly my parents react. My dad was 30 plus years in the Air Force. He retired as a master sergeant through the C5s. And my mom, though, worked in many different fields. But I'm pretty sure I know how they act, and I don't think they would either care or wouldn't give a shit. Well, that's the same thing, but I don't think they would care. It's my life. Like, I can do what I want with it.
Yeah, I think it's
I know
really.
How my parents would act, but I don't plan on telling them until I go to my first convention and come back. Because there's always that chance that that spark that's in you will be extinguished if you go to your convention, your first convention. I know a lot of people who wanted to be a furry came back and they was like, nah, that's not for me. It's sad. No, they still say they're furry, but they don't want to get too far into it. They kind of like back off. I just want to go because I want to experience it. You only live once.
It's an interest. I mean, I think the problem is that instead of, and I don't think for a lot of people, like, our parents grew up differently. They're from a different, like, timeline with, they're coming into a different life of more acceptance. And it's hard for some people to transition. Like, I honestly, I kind of understand in a way when you have someone that doesn't agree with your, the things, your hobbies, your likes. I have an aunt and a grandma. My grandma hated it absolutely, and she had told me that my mom didn't love me, and I almost ran away that day. I didn't have much growing up, and I certainly did not have a family that still doesn't really view my ideas of a costume maker as, viable income, or they think that it's weird and stuff. And it comes to a point when you ask yourself, I could sit there and dwell on it for the rest of my life, or I can accept that not everybody, especially even people that I love and care about closely to me, are going to accept everything that I like, and that's totally fine. I mean, it can hurt because people spew hateful things about you, or they automatically assume just because you like ponies, they ask if you're gay or something, which is silly. I mean, if you like something, it shouldn't matter the gender that you are. I mean, if it makes you happy and you're not hurting anybody, why not? But, I don't know. It just comes to, like, a huge understanding that, especially when it comes to family that have grown up differently, and they're not always going to see eye to eye. And there's just a point, I feel like, when you just have to accept that. So, yeah, like,
Yeah.
Sorry you guys go through that. Like, I hate seeing that happen. Like, it seems to be a very popular thing, but...
No, I know how my dad is. He said, it's my life. It's like I can do with what I want with it.
Yeah. I think it's just,
I'm going to let you finish before I ask another question.
No, I think it's just, for me, the way that I always went about it, especially with my mother, because my mom and my brother are the only people that really are part of my family. That's all I have. And those were the people that I wanted, what was a big part of my life and what is the furry, is I kind of wanted them to have a better understanding. Like, they didn't have to accept me as a furry or anything like that, but I did kind of, like, educate them. It's like, look, I like the furry thing, and it's a great hobby, and I'm doing things that I want to do, and I'm getting somewhere in life. And I just kind of educated them on my views of it, because everybody has different views. Like, there's some people that are in the fandom for, like, sexual things, which I think is totally fine. I'm just an artist, so I'm not really a sexual person, so I just kind of see the fandom as, anthropomorphic animals and art. So, yeah. Anyways, I'll shut up now.
I do have a question. Not everyone likes this, but do you own a handgun or like shooting weapons at all? Like just for recreation, not at people, of course.
Oh yeah, no. My husband is former military, so yeah, we have a couple of guns in the house. I have a Mosin Nagant. I'm not very gun savvy, but we have gone like just shooting for fun once in a while. We've taken tannerite and retired fursuit heads with that.
It's just like shooting the heads.
I think it was. I think it was on your Instagram, or it was on. You went to the ranch for your birthday. Yeah, I did comment. It was a Mosin Nagant M1 Garand, and then the other rifle. I think you had 3 of them. I can't remember the third one, but That M1 Garand. What do you know the caliber of that? Because if it's a 30-06, that gun is rare. Well, it's not rare, but it's really expensive.
And it kicks like a mule.
Well, I know it kicks like a mule, so I think so. Yeah. It's actually Dan who gave me the guns. So, like, it's the only gun I own and the one that I enjoy the most. So.
Yeah, I have. I bought myself a 1945, a Colt 1911. Not Colt. It's a Rock Island 1911. I actually had to send it back.
Oh my god.
I actually had to. I actually had to send it back to the factory because it was misfiring a lot. It was misfeeding, and it failed to extract twice, so I had to send it in to get worked on. I actually am getting it back tomorrow, so I'm happy. I'm gonna get to go shooting again on Thursday.
Hey, telephone.
Well.
Yo.
Well, finish.
Okay, I'm done.
No, he's
go.
done.
Have you played Hot Dogs, Horses, and Hand Grenades yet?
No, what is that?
It is
VR game.
I'm an idiot, okay?
It's okay, me too.
We're all idiots.
Actually, Hot Dogs, Horses, and Hand Grenades is a VR gun range.
Oh, cool.
That has Mosin. I have the alpha for it. He's adding in Mosin Nagant's Springfield 1903s. Garand. He already has the Garand, but he has a little infield and stuff. But if you like guns and you like shooting stuff, but you don't want to go to the range and spend the money, I would suggest getting Hot Dogs, Horses, and Hand Grenades.
Huh.
Or
that sounds like
Hand
fun.
Simulator.
So,
no, Hand Simulator is
right
very
now.
crazy.
I know, that's why I love it so much, especially when everyone's on desktop. It's hilarious.
Basically,
It's very hard,
basically
though.
bringing this up in conclusion, because we're kind of running out of time here. I hope everybody that was on the other side that was listening into the podcast really enjoyed hearing from Telephone. I know I did, and I know everybody around here loved answering the questions, and I hope you, Telephone, really did enjoy answering questions and learning a little bit about us. Yeah.
No, this has been great. You guys have been so, absolutely sweet to me ever since I got on, a week ago now? So, I've been really enjoying it, and I appreciate it. Thank you for making me feel kind of equal with you guys.
I treat you as a normal person, though. I did fanboy a little bit when I first met you. It's like, who
No
doesn't?
worries. Yeah,
I treat you as,
Oh,
no
I treat you as a
problem.
friend, and
I am not worthy of
I
the
know.
presence of telephone.
Okay. Before we go, can you do the squeak?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah. Okay. It might be really, really loud, because we did, I was squeaking in Telephone, a couple of days ago, because, I guess, this person was really excited, and they, started crying. I was like, oh, no! But Ruth said that it was pretty loud, but give me a hot minute here.
Mississippi. Oh, God!
Telephone offline.
I guess what we see what happens to a Dutch angel dragon who drinks too much coffee.
We'll be on a little commercial break.
Alright, here. Oh,
Okay.
I was
That was
going
a
to do an
fast
Anchor
commercial
Ops
break.
commercial.
You talking shit?
No.
I was gonna do a
Your
Labo
parrot collapsed in
commercial.
on itself. It was
You
creepy.
did that in
Unfortunately,
my
we don't have a
game.
bull
Alrighty.
for it.
You did that in my game
Alrighty,
show.
everybody.
It was hilarious. though.
Telephone, you got your squeak, so we want to hear the squeak. Oh.
Oh my God.
Can you please say
so
the two
cute.
Griffin
So
thing?
cute.
I know you're gonna hate me for this, but can you squeak out super dash? How do you say that?
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Say the two Griffin has no dick thing, please.
Oh my
Please.
god.
No.
I have to hear
Most
it.
famous of squeaks.
Well,
This has just made
this
my
has
night.
concluded our podcast for the greatest and the great Telephone and her beautiful squeak and her
So
backstory.
modest.
Oh my god!
So,
Shall we have a round of applause?
that is a wrap.
Round of applause?
Yay.
Yep. Round of applause, everybody.
Here.
Wait a minute.